Hi everybody, it is Mr. Gray here. Thank you again for another great week. I've had a great time meeting with almost everybody now about your conferences, and I'm available throughout the year to meet with you to update that or to address any concerns you have, or if I want to chat with you again. But I've had a great time getting to spend some time with kids and parents and families together. It's been really awesome. I have some announcements right off the bat, mostly about next week. Next Wednesday, October 5th, is Picture Day, and our pictures are before recess. So if kids want to get dressed up, they don't have to change into that later in the day. We'll be in our classroom on Wednesday before pictures, and then we'll go to Picture Day, or to the picture, to take the pictures, and then take the pictures. And then if the kids want to bring a change of clothes that day to change at recess, that's totally fine. But we'll be taking the pictures before they get sweaty or anything like that during the day. So Wednesday, October 5th is Picture Day. Next week is kind of a strange schedule. It's conference week, even though we have already done all the conferences. So that means Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are minimum days. School gets out at 1:44. But Tuesday, there's no school at all. That is blocked off, so teachers can do conferences, but it's just going to be no school for the students. So teachers will be here, but no students that day on Tuesday, the 4th. So that's what's happening next week with the schedules. My last announcement coming up is my schedule going forward. I've been able to address it in some of the conferences if you've been here recently, because the news has been changing, but we do have a sub picked out. Mr. Patwara picked out a sub for us. Her name is Miss Burgess. She'll be here starting next week. She'll be in the class with me at the same time, and we'll be kind of working together to make that a pretty seamless transition, hopefully. And then her first day as the sub will be Friday, the 7th. And so she'll be here by herself on Friday the 7th. So Thursday the 6th is my last day until winter break. I have lots of plans for her. She comes to us from Turtle Rock. There will be some more eyes on her generally because she's subbing in a long-term manner. So Mr. Patwara and Mrs. Benefield will be checking in on her. The APIS coordinator, Lauren Sapelis, will certainly be coming to our class. And of course, I won't disappear completely. I'll be able to check in with her and help along the way. And I have a lot of plans already set up for her. So hopefully things kind of run smoothly. If you do have any concerns over that time, please reach out to Mr. Patwara. He's happy to engage with you if you have any concerns of any kind. But like I said, hopefully we're just going to make it as smooth as possible. And I know just from getting to meet her a couple of times, I know Miss Burgess is committed to just getting to know the kids and making them have a good time and trying her best during this time. So that's what's coming up with me. Of course, I will see you after winter break. I really want to thank everyone who's been so complimentary about my growing family, and you've been incredibly supportive, and that makes it easy to step away for a little bit, even though it's hard because your students are so wonderful, and I'm having such a tremendous time in this class and in the APIS program. So I'll be ready to go in January, but I do really appreciate all the kind words that everyone's been saying, so thank you for that. As far as academics go, next week is a really short week, so everything is really condensed. The actual amount of time we have is closer to 2 days of school than a normal 5-day school week. So things are really short, and we're going to have a little bit of a transition. So we're going to do a lot of discussion about how students are going to be acting once I'm gone and the subs here. But in Reader's Workshop, we're kind of just going to close out our unit on theme. We're certainly not done talking about theme for forever. But for the moment, we've really been reading fiction a lot and talking about the theme and discussing it with partners and taking a quiz on it. So because of that, we're going to step away from theme next week. And then if we have time, we'll do a little bit of preparation for the first novel study of the year. The sub will run the first novel study, and that will start the week of the 10th. But we might get to do a little bit of preparation for that next week. And if not, they will start the next week when they actually start the novel study. In Writer's Workshop, the kids are going to be doing a couple things. We've been working on narrative for several weeks. They've actually published one narrative already. That grade's not in the grade book yet, but it will be soon. The students are going to work on a couple things to finish their second narrative. We've been adding a lot to try to improve the narrative. This week, we're going to add a flashback and or flash forward, a past scene or a future scene. And there's a couple of reasons that we're going to do that. But hopefully one of the reasons is at the highest level is to illustrate the meaning of the story. So the simplest version of that would be like, I crash my bike, that's the story that I'm telling, and my parents come to help me, and I flash back to a scene where my parents had helped me before and that I totally trusted them to kind of save the day. That's one way to do that. You're like illustrating the bigger meaning of the story by telling a really quick story that's like a flashback to a previous time. So we're going to be adding flash forwards, future scenes, or flashbacks, past scenes to the story. So hopefully all the kids in the narrative have one of those. And then secondly, we'll be practicing endings. The students will actually take their narrative and write several different endings and choose the one that they think does the best job through a set of criteria we'll talk about in class. And then finally, they're actually going to publish that second narrative, and then I'll be able to grade that before I'm off for a little bit here. In math, we're going to take a quick pause. We have finished our fractions unit for the moment. Again, we're not done with fractions forever, but we're going to stop that being the focus for a little bit. The kids in the first full week with the sub will have a fraction project that they're going to work on that has to do with an amusement park, but we're going to stop like the direct kind of instruction about fractions for now. Next week, we're going to do a couple of things. First is we're going to take a day to do some mental math practice, some speed math practice, and also some challenge math practice. And so they'll be kind of focused on some more difficult problems, and we'll really talk about how to persevere in solving problems. So we'll talk about that as a group, and then the kids will be working individually on that. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to do one quick preparation for something called Continental Mathematics League. I know Mrs. Venable did that last year. Essentially, it is a math test the kids take, and then they get sent off and scored like nationally. Our goal really is to give the kids an opportunity to show what they know in a more not stressful environment, hopefully, but a more like competition environment, just to kind of raise their level a little bit. And so it's not very high stakes. It is not supposed to be stressful, but it is just to like look at math in a different way. And so the first time we do that is actually in November. There's 2 times while I'm gone that the kids will actually take that test, and the other APPES teachers will kind of help facilitate that. But we want to do some preparation with that and looking at different kinds of math problems that we wouldn't normally look at in class the way it's structured, but they will be on the Continental Mathematics League test. So we're going to take one day and just kind of go through that together and have kids work together and think about how to solve those problems, and we'll really review that before I'm off for a little bit. No social studies next week. We'll move right on to science. Of course, the kids will be with Mrs. DeMarco in science lab at the end of the week, but we'll be working on class and doing a little bit of research and reading. We'll be looking at how a material's properties is used in determining its suitability for some purpose. So we'll read about that, kids will write a little bit about that, and we'll have a big discussion about that one day for science lab next week. That's about it for me this week. Thank you again very much, and I will reiterate how enjoyable meeting everyone and taking some time to talk about how wonderful your children are at the conferences. I had a great time doing that, and so I hope I get to see you throughout the year and do a little bit more of that. And I think we'll have some times later in the year where some parents can get invited to school, and we'll have some different ways to do that. But I had a really enjoyable experience. Lastly, like I said, I'll be back in January. So excited to come back and see all the students. We will let everyone know once baby Gray is here and healthy and happy and safe. So we'll look for that, but I'll definitely be able to share that news with you. I would say for the most part, we had a really condensed time to try to get a bunch of grades in. Hopefully by next week, I have enough grades in that really probably represents the trimester, even though the trimester doesn't finish for a little bit. But just keep that in mind that there probably won't be too many grades with the sub here, especially in the first part, because I tried to put in grades at the start of the trimester, and then maybe not very many grades at the start of the second trimester for the sub is going to do. We'll have to just see how it goes. But by the time I come back in January, we'll do another speed run and get some grades in. So like I said, any questions, you can let me know while I'm out. Talk to Mr. Potwar. But again, thank you for all the well wishes. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.